What's up, guys? Thanks for joining us again, bringing in the new year. Everybody's excited about all these, what do they call them, resolutions. And, we're here to come out and say, it's going to be the same you that it was last year. You're going to go through the same patterns if you don't change your habits. It's the same you sitting within.
That's right.
It's the same person that you were last year that you're going to be this year unless you change habits.
That's right.
What do you think about that?
Man.
Because I know we do these routines and we talk about time a lot, but
I love that concept, new year, same you. So I think it's cool to reflect at the end of the year and it's cool to set new goals, but I think so many people think their whole life is going to change, but that's that same person inside of you that was there last year. So it's like, what are you going to do differently this year?
that's so true.
And I think throughout this episode, we're going to talk a lot about being doers instead of just hearers. I love that scripture, be doers of the word, not just hearers of the word. And we're also going to kind of talk about toward the end, our projections for what we think this year is going to look like from, just the business that we do. So y'all stay tuned for the end. We're going to kind of talk a little bit about that. But I think in the beginning of this episode, we really just want to talk about the new year and what comes with that. And for me, I have big goals for 2024. I'm planning for it to be the best year for me, health-wise, financially, spiritually, all of these things. That's what I'm gearing up for. I know you're the same way. So we're just going to kind of talk about what we're going to do and what you can do as well to change your life. So tell me what you're thinking about New Year. What are your goals? What are you looking to do? And what would you say to somebody else who's kind of in that same boat?
Yeah, absolutely. And I started off harsh, but it's literally a new year is a good refresh. You just kind of press refresh on your life and you look back. I always take out my planner from the previous year. I go through the whole thing and I just kind of look, because you can remember, if you write things down, you can remember when you went to lunch with, whoever you went to lunch with, or, and you can look at that and say, hey, was that productive? What did it get? Like, you can just analyze it. You can reflect on it. So that's something I totally recommend anyone do that, write stuff down, go through your emails. Even if you saved all your emails, just see like who you emailed. You're probably going to find some old leads in there, things of that nature. And as far as goals this year, man, I'm just like you. Like financially, I really want to get to where we're at the best spot ever in our business, because we've built our businesses. It's going to be our 4th year going this year, and man, we have developed some new skill. Like we're flipping the houses that we didn't do that 3 years ago. We have wholesaled a house. We have trained employees. We've done a lot of things over the time. So just to build on that is always a goal. So I have specific numbers laid out where I'd love to make a certain amount this year. I have, trips I want to go on. I have things just written out for all areas of my life. I try to keep up with relationships, church, business, personal life, physical, mental, spiritual. I just write down the areas of my life and I just constantly look at them, like over and over. At the end of this year, I went back and looked at my goals from 2020, 21, and 22, to go look at them, just to see. And some of those goals weren't my goals at all anymore, but some of them I was like, wow. I was like, man, was my belief bigger then? Because one of them was like own the Atlanta Falcons. And I'm like, bro, I still want to do that. But like, I haven't thought about that as often as I used to.
Arthur, if you're thinking about
Arthur Blank, please. Just a little shareholding.
That's right.
Like, let's buy in. But
Justin Fields here.
Or Russell Wilson, or anyone that can.
That's true.
But anyways, this isn't about sports. This is about improving your life. Atlanta Falcons probably won't do that. I watched that Super Bowl. They probably won't.
Yeah.
So, but going in the new year,
good.
I got the goals,
good.
And I got a lot of things that I'm aspiring to do. I want to get our insurance agency to a certain point, since we've taken in these new roles where, I'm kind of operating insurance, doing a lot of social media stuff this year. Brent and Rob are handling the real estate side. And that's one thing too, guys. I'm not saying delegate it all to your business partners, but I'm saying like figure out the strongholds in there and work at your strengths, like wherever you're working.
And I think we've had to adjust even from a business standpoint of like, are we operating the smartest way possible? And you got to take inventory of every area of your life. Are you operating your health the right way? Are you operating your relationships the right way? For us, the business is a big part of what we do. And we made some changes toward the end of the year in what our time was going toward. And I think we've really positioned ourselves to run our businesses way smoother into the new year's.
Yeah.
So that's something that I would recommend for you. It's like, are you
taking
operating
an inventory?
That's right. Are you operating your life? If you're in the business world, if you work for someone, whatever it may be, are you operating it the proper way? Because so many times we just get caught up in what we've always done, and that we've always done it this way, so let's just continue doing it this way. Maybe that's not the best way to do things. What if Henry Ford would have never created a new vehicle?
We'd be driving a lot of Chevys.
You
man.
know, tie a Model T to the Tesla truck, and it's like you see what happens when you make changes and adapt and better yourself. That's the exact way that I want to do my life. Like that he mentioned earlier, we're in business for 4 years now, and oh my goodness at the lessons we've learned. Oh my goodness at the wisdom that we've gotten, the
people we've
experience, the people we've met. All of this stuff starts to happen over time, and you can't replace that time factor. That's the one thing about the new year coming in. The new year brings on new opportunities, new growth. And if you're not focused on growing every single year, you're just going to continue to go through the motions year after year after year. So use this new year as a springboard into the person that you want to be in every area of your life.
And not everyone needs to do a complete 180, change their life. Like some people is just like, oh, I want to continue being a good dad and being there for my kids. So instead of showing up after work early 3 times, do it 4. And now you've done something to change. And it's like you're trying to appease to the things that make you feel better, make you feel stronger, make you feel like you're living out your purpose. But everyone's different in that. Like ours, I get a lot of like fuel from, mentoring our employees or training them or, running our businesses. It gives me a lot of motivation and stuff. And, that's also what happens when you put your skin in the game. Like when you put your whole life, like basically it's gambling in a sense. You just take an educated calculator estimate and say, I'm going to put my whole life on the risk that this works. And
that's right.
It's, to me, it's the most,
it's the way to do it.
Yeah, it's the most fun thing you could do, but
yeah,
it's scary at times too, so.
And I think that's a great point. I think going into this new year, you have to put yourself out there ultimately, because I see so many times people, man, I really want to do this. Man, I really want to do this. And year after year, man, I really want to do this, never comes to fruition. They never do anything. But we've got some friends in our life that are taking some risk in their life, and it's so cool to see that risk pay off later in life.
Dude,
even
the compounding, watching things compound, like watching people start, like say a job and then watch them make it to that next level. I have friends that, like one of my friends, he's been in taxes for like 5 years, and he's finally at like a good point in his life. Like he's finally made it to 6-figure level after like 5-6 years, and it's like beautiful to see that compound. Same thing with, how we run our businesses and the experiences we've had, and just that compound into say house flipping and just the goals that we are able to turn our lives around into.
That's right.
Like the things we're ready to aim for because of the experience we have now.
So true.
And going back to the concept of this video, the new year, same you, I just have to say, like, you are in your body. You're sitting in here behind all this stuff, and you are in there ready to, do whatever the potential thing that you want to do is.
Hopefully you have some goals.
Yes, if you have any goal, if you want to be anyone, you're sitting back there, and all it takes is to start taking these actions towards it. It's not going to happen overnight. When I was 18, I wanted to own a business. I didn't own a business like at 19 just because I wanted to. I had to start taking steps. I had to gain a skill. Then I had to, I partnered with people, but I almost bought into one. Like I had to save my money and buy in, or partner with someone to get in. And then once that happened, like it still compounds. I got a real estate license. Then we start wholesaling. Then we flip it just things happen.
That's right.
It compounds over time. But what I'm saying,
we talk about flipping houses too.
Like in my outside of this world, like in my personal life, like 10 years, but in my business life with you, it's probably like the whole time.
The whole time. So that's the thing. It's like these ideas that we have, it's a practice to implement them, and it's a constant pursuit to get better in those areas and to educate yourself. We've watched so many videos on flipping houses, and then we actually did it. So that's the thing. My point is, like, go do it this year, guys. Go take that risk. Go take that gamble. Not really gambling, but like go out there and put yourself out there, because the joy that we have running these businesses, it's stressful. Running a business is hard. And I guarantee you, not many businesses find instant success. There's some people, but it's a grind. Don't let me fool you. Don't let us fool you. It's a grind to build businesses and manage people and all this stuff, but it's so worth it.
Yeah, it's a great feeling at the end of the day to reflect on, like, hey, we did make some impact. Things got tough here, but you overcome over and over. And it's kind of like what we would always say at the beginning, like, if we don't quit, we never fail.
That's exactly right.
So we're just probably not going to quit. But guys, we haven't made it like anywhere near where we want to go.
No.
So this is just like in the process.
We're still on the strip, the takeoff strip.
Dude, my father-in-law, we've had him on the show. One of the best men I know. He's a successful guy. He's owned a business since 1977, 40 something years. And that guy, like, he tells me all the time that he didn't start like actually seeing like that compound effect happen until he was in his 40s, and he started in his 20s.
It's crazy.
And it keeps me motivated, but it's also like, that's what we're in the process of doing.
Exactly.
Like it's going to be fun to watch and experience. So.
Yeah. And that's the beautiful thing of like finding joy through that grind is something that's very doable, but you have to, again, practice that. You have to do these right things. You know, we both love reading. We both love studying the Bible. We both love doing these things. And that's what helps bring joy, even when you're going through those hard times, is because, you know, read Entrepreneur Roller Coaster, read these books that you learn that you're not alone in the struggle. Read the Bible and you learn how to deal with adversity, and you learn that life isn't made to be roses and rainbows. Like that they do come at times, but it's inevitable that life is going to be challenging, but you can find joy in all of that. And that's another thing that I would challenge you in this new year, is to get your spiritual stuff right, to get the way that you treat people, your relationships. That's so much more important than any amount of money that you make, is how you treat other people. And ultimately for me, how my Heavenly Father sees me.
Absolutely.
You know, that's me personally, but I would say try that, because it's been very good for my life.
And just something I heard recently, it might have been Andy Frisella or someone, but they said that, you know, basically when you go into, say, anger, depression, whatever the thing is that you're dealing with negatively, when you go into that, it actually makes you lose your power. You lose your power over things. So it's like you're not in control anymore. The thing you're mad at, the thing you're depressed about, the thing you're sad about is now in control of your life.
That's right.
And dude, let's take the power back this year.
That's right.
Let's take back the power, because I want to do the most I possibly can in this world. And that's what I'm saying, is the potential is already in you. Who I am now was not who I was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 1 year ago. And it just keeps getting better and better. Like, I'm not encouraging everyone to just go have a kid right now, but becoming a father this year, dude, that's next level. It was awesome.
Yeah.
It's like,
changed your whole life.
Yeah, but it's also so hard. Like Dreambeard's back here, he's probably laughing in his head. It's like, dude, that ain't for the faint of heart. Get ready to work even harder. So, but anyways, it's the same you. We're going to get into the real estate market and everything, but the potential is within you, and you can do whatever you set your mind to. You just got to believe in what you got going on. You got to believe in yourself. You got to believe in, you know, what you're working on, and you got to have the skills to do it. And if you don't have the skills, hop on somewhere.
Set goals, eliminate excuses, and go get it. Let 2024 be your best year ever too, and then do it again in 2025. True people that I look up to never reach a point where they stop getting better, getting, you know, more improved in every area. And that's what we're trying to preach. And that's what we're also trying to practice. We haven't made it at all, but I'm going to keep trying to make it every single year. And I'm going to keep trying to get better and better and better. And to switch up gears here, I think the real estate market, especially, is something we want to talk about. We're starting to see it get better even in the new year. Interest rates, like we talked about a couple of weeks ago, are continuing to fall. I think they're saying they're planning 5 rate decreases right now from a federal level. So again, going into an election year, we're not going to have high interest rates. So the market, I see, really getting aggressive again as this, you know, the summer months. So if you're sitting on the sidelines right now, I would really encourage you, go ahead and reach out to a lender, call us if you need a good lender, and go ahead and just get that approval process started, see what your interest rate currently looks like. Because if you're waiting right now, man, it might be another, I mean, Alex, we've talked about it before, but how many offers did you have on that one house?
70. There was 72, and I competed against 72, 58, 36, something like, I mean, dude,
insane.
I'm a realtor, and I was typing the offer, and I can talk to you all the details you want about it, but I was putting in there that I would go 2,000 above any offer that anyone received, and I would do that, and I still didn't win. I would still not be the best. I'm like, how? I literally said I would go 2,000 over anything crazy. You got.
And they would still just accept probably a cash offer.
Most of the time.
Yeah. So if you're sitting on the sidelines right now, in my opinion, I would, you know, if you've got the cash, if you're stocked up and you're ready to go ahead and try to get into something before it gets to that point. Because it may not be to that extent, but I really do see when you start getting high 4 interest rates, it's going to be crazy.
There's a lot of people sitting on the sidelines right now, a lot of people. And we got, you know, it's a leap year. We got the election coming up. There's going to be 3 price cuts, like guaranteed. Right. I know it's 3 like minimum.
And where we're at, and again, we live in West Atlanta, basically, in the west side of Atlanta in Georgia. We're in a really good market. I mean, if you're riding around your neighbor, wherever you live, I don't know where you live, but if you're riding around and you see a bunch of new development going on, these new developments now are ran by hedge funds for the most part, and they're very smart when it comes to economics. I'm not saying they've got a crystal ball. It could all come crashing down. Nobody has a crystal ball.
Look at Open Door.
Correct. In our market right now, though, all these big developers are building as fast as they can to try to get inventory ready for the summer. That tells you something about what they're expecting to happen. So they're getting all these houses ready for these people who have really good interest rates and a lot of inventory to sell and move up. So that's a sign of what's to come. There's going to be a lot of movement in the real estate market this year.
Yeah. And we mentioned it before. And so basically there was only one other time where they started building all these things and predicted it, and it didn't work out. And that was 08.
Yeah,
08, 07. But we talked about it before, but essentially right now everyone owns their home. Like everyone has a lot of equity in their home. And because of that, they will not be foreclosing on these things. The people that maybe buy a house this year, maybe give it a few years, maybe, but like it's not going to be like 08 just happening all over again.
No.
And if you're a realtor in a market, always know, I just want to throw this out here because I was talking to someone over this past weekend about it. But if you're a realtor anywhere, just know that, when it comes to your area and where you're trying to market and everything, where you live is always going to be your best bet. Like when it comes to flipping houses, we're flipping a lot of houses where we live. And that's because we are pros on it. If you're like looking to get into real estate, looking to do a wholesale, looking to do something, start where you live. It's going to be the easiest way to do it.
Most of the time. Unless you live in
unless you just moved from Ohio to Florida. Yeah. And now you're not. And if you're go to a networking event.
But for the most part, if you're in a pretty decent market, start there.
Yes.
So many people try to expand to Florida when they don't even know Georgia well. And for us, we're very fortunate, us and our business partner, we literally have lived in the same town our whole life for the most part. I lived away for a little bit. You lived away. You were never out of the county. I was out of the county for like 6 months. But my whole life, I know every road. You can tell me this, I can tell you that helps, is knowing your market very deeply, because you can stay out of some bad areas that you otherwise would think this is a great deal.
Yeah, and you understand the school districts better. Just a lot of things that you don't have to necessarily research as much. And Dallas, where we live, man, Dallas, Georgia is booming.
It is.
Dallas, Georgia,
they're building like crazy.
I don't know what the exact numbers are, but I think our population over the last 5 to 7 years has gone from 130 to 180, so 50,000 more in the past 5 years.
What's insane to me is that my brother, when he went to high school, when he started high school, there was only 2 high schools in the county.
Now there's 5.
Now there's 5. So there's
in 04.
That was in 04.
20 years ago.
When I got to high school, there was 2 schools added in my run. Now there's been another one added, and they're talking about adding another one. Like, our county is busting at the seams. Our schools are busting at the seams. A lot of people are moving here because there's a county right beside us where the Atlanta Braves play called Cobb County, and good luck affording a house there. So many people are moving over here because you can still get to the city quick. So your market, like he's saying, is so critical to where you're at. So educate yourself on where you're at. Know your local market, and you may have to expand to other markets, but I think that's great advice, is to specialize in that market, really understand the ins and outs of that market.
Absolutely.
That's great advice.
Yeah. And going back to real estate, all this stuff with the goals and everything, one thing that I have a goal to get much more serious about, and I just want to say on here for accountability, is like this year we're going to take our social media like way up, because essentially at this point in my career, I'm talking to the business owners now, I feel dumb not doing social media more. Yeah. I feel like I'm just losing. Like I have an opportunity in front of me that I'm just like ignoring every day, is how it's starting to feel. So it's just something that we're definitely going to do more of this year.
It's so true. And it's just getting the word out there about what you do. So many people, don't have business, but yet they're not telling people what they do. Like, we have this free platform now called social media, where you can literally post every single day and tell people what you do for work. We've never had that in human. Normally you had to run an ad in a newspaper just a few years ago, or pay crazy amounts to get on TV. No more of that. You can literally just have your own running billboard every single day. Rob Johnson does a great job of that. He's making money on TikTok now. Yeah. It's crazy, but he is literally committed so much to the social media. He is like the poster child of what we get our employees to do with their social media game. And even these young kids in our environment are starting to see success.
They get leads from it. They close deals from social media. It's just it's like a free opportunity. Like Brent mentioned, it's free. And it's like, if you just post, literally, I mean, it's as simple as like if you just post the same thing every day that you work at wherever you work doing sales, eventually somebody will hit you up.
That's so
and
true.
Rob's living proof. But I mean, it's going to be better if you make it valuable and entertaining. I will say that, but you can literally have success just posting every day that you work in sales, doing whatever you sell, or you own a business.
Just show them what you're doing.
Yeah, just show it. Just take a picture of it on your story, whatever.
That's exactly right. One other thing I want to talk about, and I didn't even tell you we were going to talk about this, but as far as like looking into the next year with investments, it's something that we also love is just investments with like stocks, Bitcoin, all these things. I especially think the stock market this year was wild because 2022 was such a bad year. Everything really did well in 2023, and I think you could almost have false expectations. You know,
S&P.
Yeah, like overall S&P was up, NASDAQ was up. Certain stocks, Apple, Tesla, all these companies were, there were some with, 300% gains. MicroStrategy, a company that I love. Obviously, I talk about it almost every day on our chat. MicroStrategy was up over 200% on the year. Bitcoin was up, 150% on the year. So many of these things had crazy years. Do you expect that to be the same this year?
This year for me, I do. Like, I really don't see how with the election and the economy and how long we've had the inflation and everything, I don't really see how we can continue. Like, if 2023 happens again, like, I don't know, I think like halfway through things will start to shift because I just don't see how it could be that bad again personally.
Yeah.
Like, and if it is, then I would say like, oh wow, I would consider more so, are we going into a recession? Because, the signs are there for some of the recession stuff, but to me, it's still like our economy is still, still things are selling. Like Amazon didn't like crash, you know what I mean? Nothing too crazy is happening.
FTX was probably the biggest scandal that we had. And we survived. Coinbase survived. All these companies, the crypto game somewhat survived. Bitcoin, I'm a Bitcoiner. People, I don't think there's really good understanding of what Bitcoin truly is. You got to do a lot of research on it to understand. I'm an idiot, as you know. Barely graduated high school just because of effort. But long story short, it took me a while to understand the concept of Bitcoin. But now that I do understand it, I feel like it's a really good place to store wealth, more than, currency of the future. It's just an asset that has done the opposite of the dollar, and it's appreciated, whereas the dollar has depreciated. So do some research on Bitcoin. This year is a halving. So literally the production of Bitcoin is getting cut in half around April. And typically when that happens, that's basically just supply and demand 101. And there's this new thing called a spot ETF where you'll actually be able to buy Bitcoin through your like IRAs. Big companies will now be able to invest their clients' money into Bitcoin way safer than just buying Bitcoin in their opinion. So that's going to bring a lot of interest and demand to the market. And then the halving year, the supply actually gets cut in half. So our supply is going to get cut in half, and the demand should probably 10x.
The
maybe.
ETF, people are just going to become more aware, and as you become more aware, things sell more.
That's right.
As you become, for example, people became more aware that Rob sold insurance. He got more people reaching out to him on Facebook about insurance because he posted more. And same deal.
That's the same exact deal.
Bitcoin's going to do the same thing. And he's not saying go if you got $100,000, let's throw the whole $100,000 in Bitcoin, but make it a part of your portfolio.
That's my suggestion. And this is not financial advice, but that is exactly my suggestion.
But I mean, it's worked out so far. But it's all about timing,
That's right.
So
you got to time these things up, but the writing is on the wall. Do your own research. I'm not a financial expert, but you can make a lot of money. There's been so many people make so much money in Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And then there's been so many people, it's not real, but it is real. You look at the people that have made money.
Ethereum and Bitcoin, both of them. And then same deal with stocks. I mean,
stocks,
there's
I feel like
multiple millionaires out here because they invested for a long period of time or they got good at understanding stock and doing options or whatever. There's day traders, whatever.
So overall, we feel very good about 2024 and we're ready for whatever comes. I feel like God's in control of my life. So I know that even if it's a terrible year, 2023 was a terrible year for most people in business. Like there was a lot of success stories, but there was also a lot of challenge, especially in real estate and insurance. Those are the two businesses that we're in. And the fact that we survived, I know that God's hand is in our life and we're in a good spot. And I feel like 2024, all of that stuff's going to start to get better. And then hopefully the election goes a good way and we are able to continue that momentum into the next couple of years and get to the point. Basically, you got to get while the getting's good because it's inevitable that the market, the real estate, the everything, This is it, guys. It's going to do this our whole life. And that's what it's always done. And you just got to, timing is everything. You got to time it up. But if you're not in the game, you're never going to win. If somebody doesn't if Patrick Mahomes never goes to another field and plays football, do you think he'll win another game? You have to get on the field. You have to get in the game. You have to get in the action because you learn in those moments. That's how you find success, is by actually putting yourself in the environment to be successful.
Yeah.
So it's so critical that you get in.
Yeah. And failure is the only way to win. And failure isn't let's go bankrupt. Failure is like, let's try a process. Holy smokes, that's not working. I failed there for 3 months. I had a loss on my quarter. I looked at the quarterly return. I got a loss. Let's change the process and keep going. Like that's right. Failure. And
be risk averse. Like don't put don't put all of your money in the, one thing. Be, risk calculated. I love that. Calculate exactly what you're going to do.
You can be conservative. People, as they get older, they get more conservative with their finances. Like I've seen that and stuff. So
we're going hard right now.
But right now we're in accumulation, full steam ahead all the way. Like every day, it's just trying to do as many things as we can to make our futures brighter, better, all the above, and led by God every day. So
and help our community
and help our community
around us.
Yeah, we try to help our community, and we're in the process of building community. Like I definitely envision us having a community where we have conferences and thousands of people come, and like we just try to help them get better because that's what's helped our life. And at a certain point, all that will come to fruition. So we encourage you guys. I'm saying it now. That's how I talk about ourselves to us. I'm saying it now. Start talking to yourself different. You are in there. Your full potential is in there. You can do whatever you want to accomplish. You just need to believe it about yourself. Start there. Start working on your routines. Take an inventory of your life. See where the mistakes are. See where the decisions you're making that you don't like are. Take the inventory and figure out how to change those and make it your future the way you want it to be.
That's right. New year, same you. Let's make 2024 great, guys. We love y'all, and thank you for tuning in.
Thank y'all.